It's time again for the Insiders with Chuck Chvala and Scott Jensen, sponsored by the Wisconsin Counties Association and the Tommy G. Thompson Center on Public Leadership.
Hi, I'm Scott Jensen, former Assembly Speaker.
I'm Chuck Chvala, former Senate Majority Leader.
And we're the Insiders, and one of our responsibilities is to predict the future for you. So, Chuck, taking a look in your crystal ball in 2024, what do you think will be like the biggest political story of next year?
Well, I think the biggest story is going to be the Biden-Trump showdown in Wisconsin. I think it will be Biden-Trump, to make that prediction. I'm not excited about that, but it's what it's going to be. Number two, I would predict that Joe Biden will win in a squeaker, but I also predict that if whichever party wins here, in other words, if Trump wins, I think the legislature will be Republican. I think if Joe Biden wins, I think the legislature, both houses, will be Democratic. So that, I think, is going to be by far the biggest story next year. And by the way, I will even go beyond that and say whichever presidential candidate wins here will be the next president of the United States. And that has often been the case in Wisconsin, but not always. So there you go. The other thing is, I do believe that the redistricting decision of the Supreme Court will be a big issue next year. There are a lot of other subsidiary stories that for many people are more important, like the Wisconsin legislature changing over to either one or both houses being Democratic, or certainly margins decreasing a lot. These are big things. But all of that is going to be dependent upon what happens at the national level.
Yeah, well, obviously the presidential race in the swingingest place in politics in America is going to be a big deal again. This state has decided its presidential elections have been decided by 1% or around there for the last couple of cycles. My guess is that will happen again. The whole country will be focused on Wisconsin and along with a handful of other places. So obviously the presidential race is going to be one of the biggest stories of 2024. And I think you're right. The other big story that we're going to see, or at least what I think will be a big story in 2024, are the decisions of the Wisconsin Supreme Court on a whole bunch of hot button issues that are in front of them, whether that be redistricting, abortion, Act 10, school choice. A lot of these questions are going to be before the Supreme Court in Wisconsin in 2024. And those decisions could cause significant disruptions to the way things have been going in this state for a while. And it'll be fascinating. I mean, this court has, we won't have seen a court have such consequential decisions in its hands in probably a generation. It's been a long time since a court has had that many hot button issues in its docket.
I think it's great that Scott and I can agree on so much at the end of the year, and looking forward to 2024, where I'm sure we'll be in total agreement again. See you next time, folks. Happy New Year.
You've been listening to The Insiders with Chuck Chvala and Scott Jensen, sponsored by the Wisconsin Counties Association and the Tommy G. Thompson Center on Public Leadership.